Okay, so right now I'm going to bring you a Firecrest evaluation. So bear with me, I haven't actually played with this build out in, in the Dark Zone yet, but conceptually I've thought about it and I think it should be sound. Obviously it's a 4-piece Firecrest, and then, the smaller attributes that I've customized I think will work pretty well. What I'm using is an assault rifle with 4-piece Firecrest, a random mask. It's my Predator's Mark mask, that's pretty good. The Savage gloves, which are godlike in 1.4, and then, a bolt action sniper, which I'm probably going to use until I find something better. I'm going to go talk about my Firecrest pieces, then talk about my guns, talk about my skills, talk about the Firecrest, set as a whole, how I think it's changed, and then go in and farm some Dark Zone a little bit and show you how it performs in PvE from a solo standpoint, because right now I'm not going to be playing with other people. It's an early access look. I don't think I'm going to encounter any PvPers. There's a specific couple groups that are going around and fighting each other, but they're on a different server. I don't know how many servers there are. There's probably like 2 or 3 or something, but I don't think they're on my server, so I'm not going to encounter people. It's very depopulated right now, but on Monday that'll change. There'll be a ton of people, and I'll be doing a lot of PvP at that point. So I'm going to talk about my Firecrest chest piece. I have health. I believe that to be actually significantly important now. I don't think it's like the end-all attribute, but it's really helpful when achieving some form of substantial toughness. Armor is tied right into that. I think the chest pieces have some customization available to them now. You're not going to roll always armor and always EDR or something like that. I roll, health and armor right now because it's boosting my toughness, and I think that I'll have time to experiment with things further in the future, but right now I think that that's pretty substantially good. It's a stamina, piece overall, and then it has some pretty good firearms mods in there, which brings my secondary attribute of firearms up pretty high as well. All the gear now has built-in 148 on whatever the main stat is not on both, and then, a significant chunk of main stat up to about 1,000. Has some ammo capacity, that's really nice. I think they will nerf down the ammo capacity because LMGs can carry 2,500 rounds right now without even speccing for ammo capacity in any way, shape, or form. You just kind of organically get that, which is a little bit too high, but it's not a huge deal. And then I'll talk about the Firecrest bonus. So you get incendiary grenade capacity, which is cool because lighting targets on fire feeds really well into your 4-piece. The 3-piece is what's critical. This matters. 50% flame turret range and 30% flame turret damage to a turret that was already buffed significantly during the patch intrinsically. So it already has increased range, increased health, increased damage, and then putting this on top of that is really nice. And it'll light targets on fire from far away, and then you get 15% damage increased while they're burning. Now you can have your teammates run these as well, the flame turrets. You can all stack up together and become this Pyromancer squad, which would be really fun. I haven't been able to test that yet, but I think that would be a really fun thing with even the Seeker Mine with the incendiary effect on it. So a lot of different ways that you can do this. Now, that's my chest piece. Moving on to my mask. This is a really, straightforward mask. Just a firearms mask, health on kill. I believe health on kill is extremely important. I think it's really nice to have. Enemy armor damage is great as well as a minor attribute. Then we have the pads with armor. I think that's important to roll. I think a lot of armor is definitely good to have. I can confirm for you, I don't know the exact scaling, and I don't know the hard caps or the soft caps on armor yet, but I can tell you I've gotten to 60%, and it appeared to be capped at 60% for me in the persistent world, and then when I went into the Dark Zone, it actually dropped down by about 10%. So I know for a fact that there's different scaling in the Dark Zone and the persistent world for armor. It might even be different scaling in the underground. I'm not really sure about that. But you need to compensate for that. So test your gear in the Dark Zone, tweak your gear in the Dark Zone so that you know exactly what you're going to have when you go in for a PvP situation. Enemy armor damage on the Firecrest pads, that's great. Pair it up with the mask, that gives me 20% already. On top of the fact I have an assault rifle, which gives me another 23%, so I'm going to be killing NPCs extremely quickly, especially on top of that 15% increased damage. That's really nice. Then I have my holster, which has armor on it. I'm kind of always rolling armor on the holster. Nothing about that really changed, which is interesting. I'm sure that things will get shaken up in the future, and by the end of the PTS, a lot of things will be different, but I wanted to bring you an evaluation of Firecrest as it stands right now, and what I've theory crafted for a build, and you'll get to see me try this for the first time in a few minutes here. I re-rolled stamina to be higher. It was actually really low beforehand. Now onto my backpack. This is the ugliest backpack in the game, but the set is actually pretty cool now. I rolled armor on it. It's more important to roll armor, I would say, than skill power on the backpack because it boosts your mitigation by a good amount. But you can roll skill power there, and if you are able to get something like a Firecrest mask instead, I would strongly recommend running something like the specialized backpack because as you can see, the specialized backpack adds 200% of firearms and stamina to skill power, which ends up being about 20,000. So if I put this on, I go to 88,000. If I come back here, this is the reason that it's not going up by 20,000 though, however, is because I have a mod in there that is electronics and skill power, which is giving me about 10,000 skill power. So if I were to switch over to something like this here, and then switch over to specialized, as you can see, it's about 19,000 skill power. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to be on Firecrest Micro Shuttle Pack, even though I would recommend some of the high ends over gear sets. The high end pieces are actually really competitive now. So having something like Tenacious Mask, Vigorous Chest Piece, Reckless Chest Piece, Savage Gloves, Specialized Backpack, there's a whole bunch of different things that you want to be running that are really good now. And there's some fringe builds that I'm sure will surface with time that are going to be fantastic. Savage Gloves are absolutely amazing in patch 1.4. They were good in patch 1.3, they were bad in patch 1.2, and this progression has been, you know, every patch they've gotten significantly better. They're now amazing. I absolutely love these. Health on kill is great. You want to stack that wherever possible. Critical hit chance whenever possible, including the Savage talent, is just absolutely fantastic if you are relying on any sort of crit for sustained damage or burst damage output. And then onto my guns. So I have the same gun that I had in my Predator's Mark build. It's just a really good one, and I really like the fact that it has Determined. Now, killing a target reduces skill cooldowns by 7.5%. That's really, really, really important. Now, the reason that's important is because the skill caps and the skill cooldowns have been changed. So you no longer have 100% uptime, especially because there's no more triage spam. So Determined is really good for keeping things up. So when I'm bouncing from target to target with my turret soaking aggro, I can then kill them while I get the increased damage faster and then get my turret back, so I can reallocate my turret to a different position to then tackle the next group of mobs, and it kind of spirals on top of it. This is a great PvE build. I haven't tested in PvP, and I will on stream later tonight, probably, hopefully, if I can. And then this classic M44 carbine got a huge boost to base damage, like significant boost. Has destructive, which is cool, but it doesn't have anything like brutal. It's not really a great roll overall. Now the weapon mods, I'll talk really quickly. There's some 4 attribute ones, which you really want, and I like that a lot. And then there's also some 3 attribute ones with 1 main stat and 2 secondary smaller stats. And you're going to want to balance this properly, because you can either mod your gun to be stable and be controllable, or you can mod your gun to hit harder. Either way, there's going to be a trade-off. You either don't hit as hard, but you have more control, or you hit way harder and you don't have control. And you have to rely on things like Smart Cover to give you, increased, aiming control, stability and accuracy, because Smart Cover no longer gives a flat damage output bonus. It gives you control over your gun so that it's on you to land more shots. Now that's the one thing this build would perform fantastically. All the builds that I'm going to show, hopefully, if I theory crafted them correctly, will perform perfectly. However, the human error component, which is me, is so high that I can't do as much as a lot of other people could. It's only my 3rd day on PC, period, playing. So bear with me on that. But that's the gear, that's the weapons. I'm going to move on to my skills. Obviously, you're going to run the flame turret because it's augmented really nicely by the Firecrest 3-piece bonus. And then you're going to want to run first aid with overdose. You could run booster shot if you had a vigorous chest piece or something like that. You could even run booster shot if you didn't, because you're going to be relying on the turret to hold aggro in PvE situations almost 100% of the time. However, in PvP situations where they're going to come straight for you and ignore NPCs most of the time, you're going to want to be able to put your turret down, keep yourself alive while it lights them on fire, and then burst at the proper time while they have reduced movement speed and, they're taking damage from the fire and they're unable to fight back. So let's talk about my talents actually really quick. I'll mouse over my character sheet. 1 is none. I've said it in every build video I've done for 1.4 so far. Amazing, super important. You definitely want it because of the reduced time to kill. Well, sorry, I meant on the move, but 1 is none is also really great, I think, because it's not as bugged. I know that some people were telling me in my stream last night that, some other streamers had some problems with 1 is none bugging. I have not had those problems. If I do have those problems, I'll talk about it, but right now I have not, so I think that it's either significantly less bugged or not bugged. I'm not really sure, and I'm trying to get it to bug on me so that I can then talk about that. Strike back, I think, is good because, again, with the non-100% uptime, especially from a solo play standpoint, if you get low, you want that skill cooldown reduction. And then triage, if you're in a group, might replace that. It would be pretty good. If you are using tech support, I believe functions properly now with all the skills, so you could swap over to something like that. And then adrenaline, because I like to be in my overheal. It gives me a comfort level when I'm PvEing that a lot of other skills don't. So that's really nice. Now I'm going to go over to my character sheet, and I'm going to mouse over. My base health pool is 129, almost 130,000, which is nice. Weapon damage is up there. Critical hit chance is up there. Factor in another 10% because of Savage. Critical hit damage and headshot damage is okay. It's not great. And then let's move down. We go to combat. Health on kill is 28%. I would prefer an additional 14% to get me up to 42. However, I did not happen to roll that. Maybe I could replace health on my chest piece for that, which would be pretty cool. And it wouldn't, put me in a bad position, but it's not super critical. It's these interchangeable, skill attributes and different, stat points that are going to make this patch good. Everything's interchangeable. You can spec however you want and still be relevant. Enemy armor damage at 43% is great. It's going to help me melt enemies quickly and move on, bounce from one to the other. I have a lot of armor, mitigates 53%, and this is variable based on your own individual stats, and it does change in and outside of the Dark Zone. I will be trying to narrow down the hard and soft caps soon, but that's really proving difficult for me. I either just can't figure out how to do it, or I haven't gotten the right gear to test it properly, and it's confusing me, and I've had a lot of stuff streaming. So anyway, excuses. I'll get the content out there. Don't worry. So I'm gonna go into DZ6 right now, solo, and try and farm and show you. This is my first experience farming with this build up here in the higher areas of the Dark Zone. So please keep that in mind, and we're gonna see how it goes. Let's rely on our turret. Let's stick to how the build is supposed to function. Bounce from target to target. Try and reallocate the turret when I can because of determined. Let's put it right down in front. And he's now coming at me. Oh, he just kicked the shit out that turret. So I guess you don't want to place it right in front of them like that because they'll just destroy it. Alright. We got the light off. That's nice. Boom. Alright, so it's doable. This never really used to be doable in DZ5 and 6. You could do it, and I'm sure there's some people that could handle, soloing the content up here. I was not among those people. However, now it's not something that you're going to really, really have to worry about. It's something that is going to be manageable and doable with a little bit of planning. And you don't want to do what I just did there. So you can't multi-proc the heal, so it's important to only use it when you absolutely need it. And then this is a horrible place to showcase the turret as well, because here, yeah, they can just kick it and they're immune to fire. So this was not the place to go to show it. Got that. He got me. Alright, so that didn't go very well. I'm going to respawn and try a different area. That was my first attempt. Didn't go amazing. Let's go down here. Let's respawn at this one and try a different few packs of mobs really quickly, because those guys are immune to fire, and that's not the way to go if you're going to be using a fire turret. Unless you have more planning or, better aim than I do. Alright. Interesting. Let's go through here, and let's get a supply drop. You know what? Let's showcase this by getting a supply drop. If it works. So it's up north. Alright. Let's warp around. Now, many of you may remember this alleyway coming up here. Now, this is, I disaffectionately refer to it as Death Alleyway, because the LMB rifleman here would absolutely destroy you when you ran through. You could not run through here without popping a signature survivor link, because if you did, you would get destroyed with a matter of seconds. They would just see you and then kill you. However, now with the new time to kill, you can see them, you can fight them, you can kill them, and then you're good to go. Now, see, as you can see, like, it can light the targets on fire. It has enough time to do that. It has significant health, so it can survive. And every time you kill a target, you're going to be decreasing your cooldowns. You're going to be getting health on kill. And when the target is lit on fire, you deal a lot more damage. Done. And I'm recharging my turret. So before my turret has been destroyed, I will have then recharged it and achieved 100% uptime on the turret, provided it doesn't get kicked by a fat flamethrower. So that's really nice. So let's go get this supply drop, and then I'll call the video, provided it works. I really enjoy the patch. I would urge anyone that has said, like, oh, I'm not looking forward to this patch, oh, this is going to be shitty, to try it first, because I know for a fact that almost every single person that I see complaining about the patch hasn't played it yet. They haven't. I've been blessed enough to be able to play this patch early. I think that that's awesome, and I think that I want to be the community's eyes and ears in the patch, because I think that there's a lot of good stuff that people are going to want to see and know about before they actually begin fighting on Monday, because I am going to be... Uh-oh, that's going to kill me. So that's the signature right there that will revive you if you go down in your solo, the medical wing signature, so there's utility in using that now, which is pretty cool. Alright. Yeah, this is going to take some real gun skill to do. Gun skill which I may not actually have, unfortunately. Ah, and I'm down. The grenader got me. Alright, let's respawn in a different place, or try that one again. I don't know. Let's try that one last time. One last time, chat. Because I think I think I can do it. I think I can do it. And it's a good build. It's solid. It performs. Especially in the lower Dark Zone areas, you're going to be able to mash through content. It's just the higher areas, you're going to require a lot more gun skill than I had. Maybe even using a marksman rifle better than I am using it. You know, being smarter, rolling away from grenades. I didn't really prioritize exotic damage resilience with this build at all, which as a result means that the grenades can kill me. Now, organically, you can achieve a lot of EDR. It's just, if you want to survive grenades without taking a chunk of damage, you're going to have to build for it specifically, maybe 2-piece final measure, which I have the ability to do with this build. If I wanted to run 4-piece Firecrest, 2-piece final measure, I could do that, and then I could eat the grenades like they were candy. However, I haven't done that. All right, let's go one last time and try it. You know, the build is really fun, I have to say. The turret isn't functioning perfectly. I would prefer to actually use this build in close quarters. Out in the open street like this, you can put the turret close, but then everything kind of focus fires it and gets rid of it. If you're in close quarters, putting it around a corner, you can wait till the enemy comes to you. The turret will light the enemy up. As a result of that, you can melt it down quicker because of 15% increased weapon damage. You can stack all these bonuses on top of each other, snapshot a kill, and then move on. Now, the problem here is that sniper is going to destroy me until I get rid of it. So this isn't exactly what people were waiting to see, but it'll work. Yeah, see that grenade? Well, we're gonna Rambo it. You ready? Let's get in here and try and melt. Got him. Got one down. Oh, uh-oh. Probably gonna go down. I'm down. But as you can see, someone with more coordination, more awareness would be able to solo. You can kill. The time to kill, now that was a boss, and the time to kill was fine. I melted the boss down. I killed him, and, you know, the drops are there now. If I had been smarter, I could have dodged away. I could have, you know, got my heal rotation better. So it's not a great showcase, but it does show that I die significantly, often, like all the time. But the build performs, and you can do what you want to do because the turret did light the boss, and as a result of that, I was able to melt him down fairly quickly. I was able to proc the health on kill, and with a variety of other factors, you know, me prioritizing them in the right way, I would have been able to clear that supply drop. So thank you so much for watching, guys. If you want to support the channel, please check out the links below. And as always, have a nice day.